Recording in progress.
Good.
I'm
really glad.
and then, yeah.
It's all happening again.
And I hope I got the new variant. It would be a waste if I didn't.
You know, right? I'm always I want the worst.
Be as,
Get up to date as I can be before we get it all again. Like it just keeps happening. I know. Good morning. Welcome to the Namakwa Unitarian Universalist Congregation. My name is Dr. Clare Hammoor. I get to be the intern minister in this really beautiful group of people, this beautiful community, this really beautiful world that we get to have together. I'm so grateful you're here this morning to investigate cuteness with us. You're going to see many cute photos. You're going to hear many cute stories. And I hope that you take the time to think about it outside of you as well as inside of your world. And to begin, I would just invite you to take a pinky finger up in the air, just a cute little pinky. And I just would invite you to give a little pinky five to people around you this morning, saying hello, saying hello. And if we could just have all of our pinkies up just a little bit higher, we can just wave to everyone around us. Make sure we get to see everybody who's here. Very cute. And you can blow them away.
All right. Well, and if you will say with me, the congregational affirmation is in your, it's in your order of service, and it's right up there. If you don't know it, love is the spirit of this church, and service its call. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. And our half plate this month, well, this quarter, is the Homeward Alliance. And Sandra Wright is here to tell us a few words about that.
for this. So I just want to thank you all for allowing us to be here to represent Homeward Alliance. I see many familiar faces from those who have volunteered at Community Kitchen where I was prior to Homeward Alliance. I am working with Homeward Alliance as it serves as a lead agency on homelessness with the City of Loveland. And so we're working very closely with the Community Partnership Office, Allison Haid, many of you are familiar with, and making sure that Loveland becomes a part of that greater picture and that system to truly help people experiencing homelessness so that homelessness becomes rare, short-lived, and non-recurring. In Loveland, homelessness has always been a little bit underrepresented, and we don't necessarily understand what a system looks like. And we are working hard to build that system. And as we are addressing basic needs, we're making sure that people are connected to solutions for what they're after. In 2021, over 400 people were housed in combination of several different agencies. Homeward Alliance was a part of that, and that's through the overall CAP system, part of a coordinated entry process for people experiencing homelessness. And that is truly our goal. In Loveland, there are various services that Homeward Alliance provides. One of the most front-facing is a resource navigator. And Homeward Alliance has a resource navigator at the newly created city-operated Loveland Resource Center who helps people with whatever they're needing with the goal of housing in mind. So whether that's helping them get documents together, whether that's helping them maybe reunify with family or friends that could result in housing. Resource navigators help with that. Just different basic needs services and whatnot. Since the Loveland Resource Center opened on January 14th, Homeward Alliance has helped 15 people reunify with their families outside of the city of Loveland that resulted in, of course, them being housed in a stable environment. And we're very grateful for that. With the Loveland Resource Center, that again is run by the city, but we're very involved in making sure that best practices are being recommended and hopefully followed and all of that. But there in December, 223 people were served at the Loveland Resource Center. And the majority of those were seen by the resource navigator with Homeward Alliance to help get them connected to other services. In addition to the resource navigators, there's mobile laundry that's at the library on Thursdays and Fridays, helping people with their laundry needs. We have family services in Loveland, a bike repair clinic, and many other things that are kind of occurring as we're working to address homelessness as a whole. We want to thank you. And I know that this church has a reputation this congregation has a reputation of being very involved and seeing people as people and figuring out what needs to help and help us, what needs to happen in order to help all of us along our journey. And we want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I just, in responding and in honoring, I just invite us to show our feet walking our talk. This is us doing the work. Thank you for being here to tell us about it. Thank you. Elena Westbrook writes, in a world ravaged by violence, by hatred, by conflicts that seem eternal and insoluble, sometimes the only thing we can do is be still for a moment, to remind ourselves what is real. The sun that rose this morning, the dirt under our feet, the air whispering in and out of our lungs. This hour, we try to be present in each moment as it unfolds. Our simple attention is what makes these moments holy. Simple attention is the act of worship. And today I invite our simple attention to land on cuteness, on things which, as the Oxford Dictionary describes, appeal to us in endearing ways. You'll notice many cute images in the slides today, and you'll hear stories of cute moments and things. You'll be invited to take deeper notice of the cuteness inside and around us all. And altogether, I hope you'll find yourself more endeared to this world that we all live in. There are little delights ready to bloom around us every day.
We lost another great philosopher this week. And as he famously said, teach your children well. David Crosby, rest in peace finally. Now, I've always believed in cultural literacy, and I believe it's a parent's duty to teach their children things that happened before their children were born, songs that were written, music, movies, stories. Teach your children well. So here's a cultural literacy pop quiz for you. I don't expect the little guy to know yet, but one of these days he should know. Who remembers Mickey Rooney? All right. See, I'm in the right place for a lot of us are boomers. Okay, well, do you remember how tall he was? Yeah, he was 5'2", about my height, give or take, except for with these boots on. Yeah, pretty short for an American male. He was a vaudeville comedian, cute little guy. Remember Ava Gardner? Now, she was an actress, 5'6.5", not tiny, not cute. An actress, one of the most beautiful women in the world. She made Megan Fox look like Machine Gun Kelly. Reference for you younger folks. When Ava Gardner was only 18 years old, she met Mickey Rooney for the first time. He was on the set of a show filming something. Now, have you ever heard of Carmen Miranda? Yes, okay. Fruit on her head. Mickey was doing an impression of Carmen Miranda in full regalia, singing and dancing with wild abandon. OMG, he was so cute. Look it up on YouTube, you can find it, it's hilarious. Well, she fell in love, madly in love with this tiny little self, and at first sight, and became one of his 8 wives. Can you believe that? I don't know. Well, you could say he Mirandized her. For all you crimey folks over there, we're recording, right? And why, may you ask? Am I talking about these people? Well, not only was Mickey Rooney cute and tiny, but he always reminded me of my dad. Because folks who know me know that my dad came out of the vaudeville tradition as well. He resembled Mickey also. He made his money from playing guitar and singing, but he'd crack himself up telling jokes between songs and singing parodies. Mom was beautiful. She'd be rolling in her grave if she heard me saying that. Tex Ritter called her his little strawberry because of her red hair. That just infuriated her because she hated her red hair. Cracked me up when Dad would tease her about that. But in my office, I keep this little guitar pick that my daddy used. And I look at it. I think about it. I think about Daddy. Catholics, any recovering Catholics in the group? Yeah. Remember, they would call this a sacramental. It is something, it's a physical object that brings a person's memory or essence to life in your heart. And the person doesn't have to be dead. We can all agree that babies are cute and tiny, miniature humans. And we can all agree with the statement that my babies and grandbabies are the cutest in the world. Right? Say it with me. My grandbabies are the cutest in the world. See, True, absolutely true. Well, my most recent husband was born and raised in Puerto Rico. He's not the father of my babies and grandbabies, but one at a time, my daughters and granddaughters met the family. Well, the last one, my middle granddaughter, Katie, who turns 25 today. Yay, Katie. She's always been a wild child. Wild. You never know what's going to come out of her mouth. So, though Michael's dad passed away 10 years ago, Mom is still a strict Nazarene. So it was with some hesitation that I asked Katie to come with me to Bayamon 4 years ago. But okay, I did it. She turned out to be the absolute perfect, most wonderful traveling companion I could ever ask for. We walked and Ubered, danced and ate and clubbed. We saw sights and shopped. We floated around in the ocean and gathered shells. Since she had pockets in her cover-up and I didn't, she put all the shells in her pockets. And we both forgot about them till after we got home. And then she couldn't find them. So fast forward to this Christmas. We're opening gifts. So many thoughtful, lovely gifts. So many slippers. Katie saved the best for last. She was so proud. She made everybody stop and watch as she handed me the beautiful, shiny purple gift bag, grinning from ear to ear as I pulled out the baggie filled with shells and sand. She just moved and she found them in her pockets. I had bought a little treasure chest to put them in. Isn't that cute and tiny? So they're in here. Finally, the set was complete. It sits in a place of honor next to a dinosaur in my dining room. Every time I pass by, I see it and I think of Katie and how much joy she brought me, how much joy she brings me in my life. And the cutest little redhead since my mom popped out of my daughter. My mom didn't pop out of my daughter. Cutest little redhead since my mom. And she popped out of my daughter. And none can hold a candle to her. So come, let us worship together.
Praise for the morning. Florette. Here we see a family walking with boxes and bags and things in their hand. When May's family moved to the city, May wanted to bring her garden with her. And there we see May on a balcony overlooking a very gray city. Her mother said she could make a new garden, but there was no room among the crowded buildings for apple trees and daffodils. And there May is looking at a statue, and her dog is looking at a sign that says, "Keep off the grass." Instead of winding paths and leafy hiding spots, all May found was a cranky cat. May missed playing with her friends, listening to the birds in the apple trees, and gathering things for her treasure jar. And there she is among piles and piles of boxes all alone. She longed to chase butterflies in the wavy grass. She drew her own butterflies, and there we see the cement covered in chalk of butterflies and trees. But the rain washed them away, and there she is on the solid gray cement again. She set up a picnic. Here she is with boxes painted like the outdoors. But the apple tree fell over and the daisies went missing as her boxes get carried away by her father. May was tired of those boxes, and here we see her looking out the window with binoculars. Down below, people moved like ants winding through the streets. Beyond them, May spied an open space, a space with trees and a swing. When May's mother was ready to go out, May ran downstairs and led the way on a new path. There she goes, out into the city. She turned the corner and walked over a bridge in between buildings and under lampposts until she came to a park, but the park was filled with tiny stones and empty chairs. May drew a daisy with pebbles. She listened to the hum of city and the rustle of one tiny bird, an apple tree bird. The bird took flight and May quickly followed, only to see it disappear. And there she is back in the gray city with her dog, into a leafy forest. And here we see a plant shop whose name is Florette, just busting at the seams right in front of May. The forest was closed, so May waited and waited, but the bird didn't come out, and May stared at the entrance for a very long time, and then she noticed a small green sprout peeking through a gap. And there she is looking at the cement, and a tiny green bean is growing out of it. A piece of forest, and there May is holding it in her hands. She walked back around the corner, she hopped over the tiny stones and past the empty chairs, and she weaved through the streets under lampposts carrying her little Florette. And back over the bridge and at home, May held her new treasure up to the light. On the windowsill was her jar. There we see her with the plant and the little jar in the window. A small jar with enough space for a plant to grow. And there we see May with a friend putting that plant inside of a jar in May's garden. And now we see her surrounded by kids and surrounded by plants, and they're playing together. And here we see her apartment that we saw at the beginning, but with vines growing down the sides and trees in the courtyard and lots of beautiful plants. Let's take a big breath in. And let's let it go. And if we have any young people joining Janet Wright for RE today, I invite you to meet her in the back of church. If you notice anything, it leads you to notice more and more. If you notice anything, it leads you to notice more and more. Mary Oliver writes this in a poem speaking about what she does best, which is just noticing the world around and inside. And so for today's meditation, I invite us into a space of noticing ourselves. And I'll guide us through that if it's comfortable. If it's comfortable for your eyes to be closed, I invite them to be closed. Or if it feels better to just look down or have a soft gaze, that's great too. I invite you to find a way to be comfortable in your seat. And when you're ready, I invite you to take a big breath in. Hold on to it and let it go. Another big breath in. Hold on to it and let it go. And one more, because it feels so good. Take a big breath in all together. Hold on to it and let it go. Arriving more fully inside of yourself, arriving more fully inside of the space, I just invite you to bring your awareness down to your feet. Maybe wiggle your toes a little bit. Maybe roll your ankles a little bit. Take a big breath in so it fills your feet with light. And I invite you to move that awareness up your legs to your knees and your thighs. Taking a second to feel them, to notice how they came in this morning. And taking a big breath into them, filling them with light. Taking a moment to notice your hips and your lower back, your belly, spots where we carry tension. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to make it go away. But I just invite you to notice what's going on there for you today. And take a big breath in, filling it with light. And I invite you to move up to your chest, your shoulders, the rest of your spine, holding your head up strong. And just notice your breath, notice your heart, notice your back, and take a big breath in there, filling it with light. And now, paying attention to your shoulders, down to your elbows, to your wrists and your fingertips, maybe wiggling them a little bit. Maybe you have a stone in your hand and just feeling it. Take a big breath in there, filling your arms to your fingertips with light. And one more, paying attention to your neck, the top of your spine, your skull, your face, your ears, your lips, your nose, your eyes. Take a big breath in, filling the top of yourself with light. And just take one more moment to sit and notice how wonderful it is that you are alive. How wonderful it is that you can notice all these things, these worlds happening inside of you. And I just invite you to take a hand and to hold part of you that you notice needs a little extra love this morning. Maybe it's your heart, or maybe it's a shoulder or a knee, maybe it's your belly or your back, but just hold that part of you for a second. Give yourself a little extra love. Noticing what might blossom, noticing what might be growing inside there. And when you're ready, I invite your hand to let go. I invite you to shake a little bit in your seat, maybe stretch a little bit if that feels good. I invite you to take a big breath in as your eyes flutter open, coming back to the room with these people around us. Mary Oliver has one more thing to tell us this morning. She says, instructions for living life: pay attention, be astonished, and then tell about it. On the way in this morning, you were invited to snag a cute little stone. We've done this before with big stones, but I thought for today we should try cute ones. And so as our joys and sorrows today, I want to invite you to turn to someone next to you and to share a moment this week that you felt astonished. It could be something big that happened. It could be something really tiny. It might be a joy or it might be a sorrow. But I invite you to have a conversation with someone next to you about astonishment. And after you're done sharing, I invite you to hand your stone to your partner. And after they're done sharing, they're going to hand their stone to you. One last thing about this is it does tend to get a little echoey in here. So if we can keep our conversations at a lower level, everyone will be able to hear better. So I invite you now to share the gift of your attention with someone else. It was a great reflection. Yeah, I think that people really were moved. I know, like looking out, it looked good. How do you feel? Good. Yeah. That's always a win. Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Sent to the 3 weeks in, and we've got Lisa Marie. We've got Fred White,
Yeah.
who was going to be my only brother-in-law when I married uh, um, the other brother, the other brother in Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
And David Crosby,
David
Lisa
Crosby.
Marie, Fred White, 3 weeks in.
One of
If this
the
keeps up, we're going to lose 49 more this year.
one of the guys who was in Godspell, he was David Crosby's tour manager for years. Years. He has great stories. Steve Schilling's like fantastic stories. It's
Yeah.
really, really interesting.
Every time one
Yeah.
of those dies, and he's like 9 years older than me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So all these guys are like around my age.
He's also lived very hard, though.
Exactly.
You know, that's part
my
of it.
kids remind me every time. I'm like, oh my God, it was just like, well, he lived rough
He lived
life.
hard. Yeah.
Hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just cool. She shared my phone.
Okay, good. Thanks for checking. We had a lot of people here today.
Yeah.
Very full.
I had no idea. It's gonna be.
It's great.
Ran out of part of the service again.
Well, that's good. Do more next time. I'm gonna bring us back. Just to close and honor that moment, I just invite you to take your pinky up to your partner and just share a little pinky kiss together. Thanking them for sharing, thanking them for being astonished, thanking them for being present with us. I invite us now to sing Comfort Me. Comfort me.
Oh, move the opposite way. Oh, okay. It is time now for us to ensure that this is actually a church service by taking an offering. So as you know, half of our offering, our baskets are going to go this quarter to Homeward Alliance. So please be generous.
Particularly one which stocks tiny and very detailed replicas of everyday objects. Some people use them for doll houses. Some create their own tiny homes with them. Others just like holding these painstakingly crafted miniatures. I went to one of these stores once. I'd heard about its wares from friends, and so I had to go myself. Would the tiny tea kettles really hold water? How could these teensy-weensy cereal boxes contain real food? Why would someone take the time to create an itty-bitty refrigerator that lights up when you open it? Walking into the store was walking into another world. Every household object you could imagine, from Brillo pads to toilets to toilet paper to cabinet pulls, was inside and available for purchase. Each and every one of these objects was undeniably cute. And yet I found myself wondering, why do these adorable, unbelievably realistic tiny objects exist? If you notice anything, it leads you to noticing more and more. So I took the opportunity to look around at the life-size people shopping in the store. People falling in love with the new inventory. People who were dreaming of putting wee bottles of Coca-Cola in their mini fridges. People who were crafting worlds from the cutest little things, and it struck me, they were creating model worlds. They were crafting the magic of their dreams. These cute things were the building blocks of an imagined life, and I was astonished. Each object was endearing because of its scale and because of the care that it took to make it. And at the same time, everything in that store felt like pieces of the world removed from the transience of time. There was something undeniably captivating about these objects, for they were most certainly cute. And simultaneously, there was something to be learned from the miniature seekers shopping. They were so precious in tending to their dreams, imagining what the world could be. Like May in our wisdom story today, these people were seeking something, looking for the perfect addition for their little worlds, settings they could create and micromanage, if you pardon another pun. But unlike May's plants, I noticed their objects were still, manipulatable, only alive when handled by human hands. They represented very specific dreams for their owners because they could not dream themselves. Those dreams are darling and endearing, and they are important. And they're static and stable, reliable in a way which is comforting. I wonder if the spiritual lesson of cuteness lies in its transience, which is quite discomforting. In preparing for the service, I could hardly contain the delight of putting together slide after slide of little creatures. Each one of their faces was astonishing to me because their cuteness was a lure to understanding the possibilities that they contained. I was enamored scrolling through these little beings because they seemed to be captured in just the right moment in a very brief life. Similarly, I found myself time and time again, like Janet mentioned, looking into the eyes of a baby with cuteness overwhelming me. And the bigness of the life of that this little person has ahead is astonishing. Our simple attention is what makes these moments holy. My attention is grabbed by cute babies and creatures over and over again. It's heightened by the cursory nature of each moment. And my willingness to notice each and every one of them makes an act of worship. It makes the moment holy. Holiness then is directly related to presence, to the perpetual act of noticing. Like May looking for a garden and spying that floret in the cement. May goes on to notice that living being, to nurture it, to witness its growth, to love it beyond its cuteness into maturity, to witness its blossoming, the spiritual work of transience. Noticing over and over again gives us the gift of holiness over and over again. And cute little beings are invitations to this gift because they show us the world right now, and they invite us to imagine what is to come. The cute creatures of today create the dreams of tomorrow. Cuteness is a fleeting quality. Babies grow up. Goslings become geese. Even tiny Coke bottles dry out, and many, many fridges stop turning on. The ephemeral nature of cuteness is a beautiful reminder to us of the power of now, the magic of noticing today, the willingness to be affected by many things, because those little things will one day become something else. Their appeal may no longer be endearing as time goes on. However they grow, they, like all things and all of us, ultimately change. The act of transience is a spiritual lesson for us. It's a deeper challenge than creating a miniature world. It's intertwined in our commitment to living. It's a reminder to be here now, to grow with the cuties, with ourselves, with the simple gifts that exist around us all, if only we take the time to notice. And that's something to be enamored with. May it be so.
We leave this time of noticing filled with cuteness and delight.
We leave this time of noticing with deeper awareness of ourselves.
We leave this time of noticing, looking forward to more and more.
Go out to look closely at the world, dreaming what it will grow into.
Nurturing it along the way.
Bring a bulb, they're all over, with you into your world.
Tend to it with love.
May its florets be blessings.
Endearing you to the world on these bleak days.
May its roots mirror your own.
Growing and growing.
May it be so. Let's have one last breath in and let it go. Have a beautiful week, cuties.